Hey, it's Belle from school and welcome back to my channel where I discuss a variety of topics pertaining to film and entertainment. So today I'm going to be discussing the Oscars that were held last Sunday. You know, a lot of things came out of the Oscars. For example, like Parasite won for Best Picture and also won for Best Original Screenplay and Best Director, which was quite surprising, but that is not going to be today's topic. The Oscars are, you know, long past gone. We're done discussing them because the Oscars are over. But I would like to talk about that today. So I'm going to be talking about the Oscars, a history of separation. Some of the most notable snubs this year was from Get Out, The Farewell, and Little Women especially, with a lot of people complaining about about Greta Gerwig not being nominated for Best Director. So Little Women was especially hurtful to me because I felt like Greta Gerwig did a phenomenal job with the screenplay in terms of portraying why Amy was better for Joe, and that is a whole other topic. But I felt like she did a really good job in this film, especially with her screenplay. It was really good. The movie, obviously, I have nostalgic for Little Women, so I was moved to tears by the whole thing. Like, I was genuinely, like, it hit me so hard during the theater, I just started crying. Greta Gerwig is also in, like, my top directors, so because she didn't win, I was kind of a little extra salty that she didn't get nominated, and, you know, she's in my top, like, 5 directors. You can judge me for that, but she is phenomenal. Anyway, so the stubs made me kind of question, like, why isn't there a women's category? Like, why isn't there just a female best director and a men's best director? Because, you know, they separate actor and actress. So I was thinking why they just didn't do that. And so why isn't there a separation between the best female director and best male director categories? And that, you know, kind of got me thinking too, why is there a separation for the actor and actress category? If the separation is based on gender for the actors, why isn't the same done for the directors, for the cinematographers, for the editing, you know, for everybody? So this led me to do a lot of research, and I will link it down in the description of the video below. The sources that I use, you know, feel free to correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, or, you know, if my research isn't as accurate as it could be. I will appreciate that, because we are in the pursuit of knowledge here, not who's right and who's wrong. Okay? So, moving forward, so I found out, I think, I forgot which website, I think it was Britannica? I'm not sure. I'll have to check that. So there's a division between the actor and actress category that has been a part of the Oscars since its inception. So since the beginning of the Oscars, there's always been a separate Best Actor and Best Actress category. So why not with the other categories? You know, even in the first awards, which were in 1929, women were not really a separate category because there weren't women to be in those categories. There simply weren't any women, so they weren't really thinking of it. Only they were thinking of it in the actors and the actresses, because of the fact that the actresses were the only place for women to be a part of Hollywood, truly, besides, you know, assistants and whatnot. So they were predominantly a very small minority in terms of who the Academy wanted to recognize. Also, the Academy is primarily made up of old white dudes. Obviously, those are the people who they're going to more likely award, and the only thing they can't really get around doing it is with the actress, because, you know, you kind of have to see them. So in terms of the history of the directing category, only 5 women have ever been nominated. And of those 5 women, only one has ever won, and that is Kathryn Bigelow. One of the other nominees was Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, but she did not win. Tear. Anyway, so Kathryn Bigelow is the only one that has won for The Hurt Locker. And I primarily think that is because of the fact that The Hurt Locker is a film predominantly about men and about men's struggles. And, it's predominantly focused on men, and I think that is a contributing factor in why she won. Now, I watched The Hurt Locker. I wasn't a fan of it. I'm not a fan of most of the movies that are nominated for Best Picture. But, not nominated for Best Picture, but I'm not a fan of most of the, I'm not a fan of most of what the Academy picks, is what I should say, as the best. But, she did win, and good for her, but her story being male-centered really did, I think, helped her get the win in the first place. I think that helped her a lot. But there is a growing sentiment of what should we do as we move forward. Now, the reason why I bring this topic up is not because this is something that everybody's talking about, that everybody needs to, well, I think everybody needs to know about it, but not that everybody's like talking about it. I bring this up to you because with the people that I have discussed this with, and the times that I've seen it discussed online, the growing sentiment is like, what should we do moving forward? What are we going to do? And with that, I believe there is no real clear-cut answer to this question. We could have a male and female directing category, and they could be separate, but that just creates more of a divide between the genders. And no category for women separately would continue to not allow women to have a seat at the table. It would continue this, very male-centered directors category. And women will continue to be snubbed for directing because the type of movies that men tend to make for the Academy are very different than the movies that women tend to direct for the Academy. And I'm saying this because you see the trend of men making mobster movies, The Irishman, men making movies about Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not very similar to La La Land, but in terms of the fact that they both talk about what it is like to be in Hollywood, because they're the kind of films that the Academy wants to see. And for the women's films, like the reason why I think Catherine Bigelow won for Hurt Locker is because it was a primarily male-centered film and the kind of films that they want to see. But for Greta Gerwig specifically, it was a very female-centered film. It was about women's issues and women's stuff. So that, I think that also reflects on who's voting in the Academy. Like, nobody knows who all of the voters are in the Academy for these awards. But historically, it's been old white dudes. So I don't expect that much diversity from them unless they're like, I don't really expect that much diversity from that specific demographic because, Okay, so I think that the only thing that we can do right now is that we need a separate category for women to direct it. It ensures that women do have a seat at this table, a seat at the directing table. It ensures that, there is a set place for women to be here, that they're not just, just some commodity that you can just like slap on the end, like, oh, we have that one token female director. Like, no, it ensures that there is a wide variety of women being nominated for director. And I think as we see more diversity happening in the cinematography category, in the editing category, I think it's going to be a need because we do not want women to continue to be snubbed for their accomplishments. And the same coin is, there's always a give and take. There's always good and bad things about everything. So this is not a perfect solution. Having separate categories, it does not ensure that everything will be equal. And in a perfect society, it would be equal. There would be a good number of women and a good number of men being nominated, but we don't live in a perfect society. We don't live in that world. And nothing will ever truly be equal, but I think that having a separate category for women will will try to get as close to that as possible. I know that some feminists that will disagree with me because I read some stuff online, especially like on Instagram. I've seen people in the comment section, and I'm not going to show you because some of the stuff is just really rude, but I've seen people like vividly disagree on this issue. And, you know, we can feel free to disagree, but I think that for now, until we see more progress in terms of the diversity in the film industry, not just who's in front of the camera, but who's behind the camera, that we will be able to see a more diverse, you know, not only for women, but for the Black people, the Latino people, like for Asian people, for everybody, there needs to be more diversity. But, you know, the biggest divider that we have in the United States is the two main categories are men and women. So with that being said, having a separate category for them would be beneficial in terms of ensuring a seat at the table for women to have their films be known and be recognized for their accomplishments. So that's the end of the video. If you liked my video, please remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. Don't forget to comment in the comment section below if you agree with me or you disagree with me. I am happy to hear any and all criticism. Just don't be rude about it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!